Oh, gonna make sure I have everything on. I think I do. Can anyone hear me? I hope you can. Hope everything's working like it's supposed to. Good afternoon. Welcome to Rick's Tech Pub. I don't have my phone out here. God damn it. It is Tuesday. Yeah, that's right. Tuesday, November 11th. So, I don't know. I was just out last night, or yeah, last night. Got off Zoom, watched a few YouTube things, and one of the things I watched was Jay's 2 cents and the brands you can trust. This all has to do with computer stuff, motherboards, basically, video cards. Um, I have a love hate relationship with motherboards. Um, a lot of them work when they want to, and most of them don't. Lucky in the last couple of years, I've had boards that are working just fine. Um, Hello, Charlie. Okay, everybody hears me. That's good. Yeah, I'm doing good, Charlie. Hope you had a good weekend. I'm just sitting here shooting off my mouth pretty much about the same thing Jay did. About the trusted computer parts, and well, like I was saying, I have a love-hate relationship with parts because they most of the time just don't work. Fortunately, in the last couple of years, I think I felt like I've hit gold lately because the boards I have do work. The ones before, a couple of them I RMA'd. A lot of computer builds I was doing. There's like 2 motherboards I had to return because one wasn't working right, and one, I don't know if it was the power supply, but we sent both of them back because I couldn't figure it out whether all the testing that we did. It looks like it's a little of each. Looks like the motherboard was having a problem. Maybe not caused by the power supply. We don't know. So we sent both of them back. We both got bitch letters back saying that they're both fine. They don't understand why we're returning things, but um, the power supply guy, that when we sent it back to, I think that was a Corsair back then. They said there was a little bit of a tick from the fan, but they weren't sure where it was from. And it was funny because whenever I take the case, tilt it to the left or tilt it to the right, that ticking of that fan would get a little bit more. You can hear it a little bit better. And then you put it up straight and put it on the shelf or whatever you're sitting on, you could barely hear it. But whenever you tilt the case left or right, you can hear that ticking a little bit louder. So I don't know. Something was loose, but they're saying it wasn't. And I don't know. I was hearing it ticking. All the other 3 guys were hearing it ticking. But Corsair said there's nothing wrong with this power supply. I said, yeah, there is. It's ticking. There is no tick. There was when we put it in 2 or 3 different cases. So they tried it. They put it in 3 cases, did the same thing I did. On the second case, they wrote back, said, yeah, now we're hearing it. That fan is hitting something. Thank you for admitting it. Well, it took us 2 cases to do it. We tried it on 2 different cases, and they finally found that it was making some kind of sound. And I don't know. I don't use Corsair anymore. I use primarily Corsair cases, but their power supplies. Like Carrie always says, you won't hear about Corsair power supplies, not on this channel. I have a Corsair power supply up there in the closet, but that's only if one of my power supplies on one of my computer dies and I need to use it for the night or for the day. It'll get me through, but I'll have to order another 750 watt. In fact, I need to order another one just to make sure I have one on hand. But the MSI, that's another company I didn't really have any trust in years ago. I mean, you couldn't have taught me. You couldn't have talked me into buying an MSI motherboard, whether you gave me $1,000. He said, "Go pick out the best MSI motherboard. I hand $1,000 back to you." I said, "No, no, no, I ain't doing that." Well, there ain't nothing wrong with them. Yeah, right. Well, 3 years later, I have an MSI motherboard, and it seems to be working fine. We'll see how long that lasts. This one seems to be doing okay. So, same with the there's a great guy here. Jeff Ryman is. Hello, Jeff. Hello, C-Man. Hello, Ken. I think I got everybody this time. And Darren. Can't touch this first again. Yeah, I don't know where Darren was, but yeah, Ken got in first. They have been happy with the Gigabyte and Asus. Well, yeah, Asus, that's the other one. I've built Asus computers for other people, but I never have for myself. Jay's 2 cents swears against them. He says those Asus boards are iffy. I mean, some people have luck with him. He's just kind of like me. He's kind of staying in the background, kind of watching what Asus does. See if they produce anything that might want to get me to spend $200 some. They haven't yet. And he said their VRMs are kind of crappy. Then he showed us one board. I think it's several years old, but he showed us the VRMs, and he said there's nothing there. So that's one thing I look at is VRMs on motherboards. When I'm looking at them, buying them, that's the first thing I look at is the VRMs. See what kind of condition they're in. See how many there are. See how many chokes. How many, the capacitor line. See what that's like. See if they're solid state. The MSI motherboard I think will last probably 5 or 6 years because it has solid state capacitors in it. They're not the older ones that have the fluid in the bottom, and the fluid eventually dries up and eventually it pops. These are solid state capacitors, so they'll last longer. At least I hope they will. I don't want this thing to die on me in the next couple of years. I want it to last at least 4 years, so you got 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 2029. If it makes it that far. I really don't think it will. I think it'll make it 2028. I'll have to replace it. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it's behaving in 2028. But I'm going to replace it in 5 years anyhow. I think I'll be replacing everything in 5 years. There goes Darren trying to get number 1. Yeah, I think he's going to stay number 2. Well, the capacitor problem, that would happen like 50. No, it's still happening today. That's still a serious problem today because I know Bob just told me he sent a new motherboard back with a capacitor that ran for about 2 hours and it popped. So he had to send that one back and he circled it and he sent a note with it, said the capacitor popped, and he popped which one. And he showed him, he pointed to it. He said he only had that board running for about an hour. And he was walking back to his office and heard this loud pop. Like, don't tell me that was just, he looked and there's smoke coming out of it. And he said, yep, it blew. He doesn't know why. And he called them and said, I'm sending you a motherboard that just popped on me. They told him, the guy asked him, he said, you're kidding. He said, no, I had it running for about 50 minutes. I was walking back to my office and it popped. He said, that's very unusual, but send it back to us. We'll RMA it, send you a new one. What's going to happen with that one? We'll test it before we send it to you. Thank you. So, yeah, it still happens. I had one a year ago that I ended up sending back because we turned the damn thing on, and the damn thing didn't turn on. It smoked, and one of the capacitors just, I don't know, so I just immediately unplugged it or made it. They sent us another one, and that would seem to work better. But yeah, capacitors, it's not as often. You rarely hear of it, but I'm the lucky dog that has problems with capacitors, and it was our frequent. It was as a rarity that happens. But I'm the guy, if there's going to be a rarity and something doesn't often happen anymore, it's going to happen to me. And it did. Because you're right, it doesn't happen very much anymore. But in my case, it did. Twice. Easy manufacturer sells bad. I'm going to test everything they sell. Well, of course not. I'm not asking them to. Well, you don't see any capacitor issues, long dog, but I do. On a lot of stuff, not just computers. I just don't have any trust with capacitors. They go through that heat cycle enough times, they're gonna crack, and then once they crack, they burst open. And all mine go through heat cycles. Especially the one in this case, the one down here, it gets warm, then it cools off, it gets warm, and it cools off, it gets warm, and eventually doing that over the years, something's gotta let go. Yeah, it could be a design issue, I don't know, but so far things are running fine, so I'm not gonna bite off more than I can chew, but I do have that MSI board in there, and MSI has gotten better, but yeah, we'll see how long it lasts. I think it'll last 5-6 years. I think it'll make it to 2028, and I'll replace it in January 2029. So it's got a few years to run yet. We'll just see if it makes it. But yeah, MSI, and there's that older, go back about 15 years, CES or SC something. There's one of those boards. I had one of those things, and miserable things to work with. CEISC, I can't remember what those boards were. They're so bad. But they were cheap, and back in those days, I didn't have any money. So I had to buy whatever I could get second hand or third hand or fourth hand, and someone had one of those boards, and they said they don't work too well. That's kind of broken, but you can try using it. And I used it for about a month, and after that, I just unplugged everything and said, nah, I'm not using this anymore. It ain't worth my time. Well, you have that kind of luck, long dog. I don't. They only last so many years with me. That's every computer I've had. Those capacitors, or I don't know, something blows on the stupid things. Not just a capacitor. Most of the time, it's the power supply, and the power supply takes out everything else. I've had that happen a few times. But lately, the last 5 years, these computers I've had are running fine. So maybe those problems are behind me. I hope they are. And I think they are. So time will tell. But I don't trust anything. I trust most people, but I don't trust anything. Because anything has failed me one way or the other. So anything I'm using, I'm always second guessing. It's like, yeah, how long are you going to last? A couple of days, a couple of months, a couple of weeks? They'll knock on wood that these computers keep running for a couple more years, because I really can't afford to be out building anymore. I ain't got the money for it. Yeah, no, I don't. No, I didn't answer any question, Long Dog. I didn't answer my own question because I still don't know. I need to know, and I don't know. Yeah, I know the memory prices are going up. I think I need to order some memory. I need to order about 3 different sets for somebody, or 3 computers. In the office, those guys, I wasn't gonna move those computers or those desks or those cubicles that were in the boxes. I had those guys muscle those things upstairs. I wasn't going to. I said, you guys take today, you get everything upstairs. And then I'll come back tomorrow and get everything set up, plugged in, and turned on and running. And I was there this morning and got a bunch of stuff done. In fact, I came back after lunch, about 12:30, quarter to 1, which is about when I said I'd come back. I did. We got a lot of stuff done. But we weren't just sitting there talking. We were moving pretty quick. We wanted to get that stuff done, and the owner and the CEO standing there, and the manager were standing there looking at us like, I know what they were saying in their heads. Like, come on, guys, let's get it done. Hurry up, let's go. Yesterday's already come and gone. It's like, yeah, we'll get it done. So we got it done. We got everything in place. Now I just got to put things together. Put things together, get things running, which hopefully by Thursday or Friday, if we don't have any problems, they'll be up and running. That is if I don't have any problems. But usually we run into a snag here or there, but yeah, we get around it. Doesn't take it that last long. There's always something that doesn't want to work right the first time, so we have to fiddle with it till it does work. And usually it's stupid networking. Something isn't wanting to connect to something. You can see it, but it can't connect to it. Where it can see something out in the network, and that's what it tells us. It can identify something's out there, but it doesn't know what it is. Please tell us what it is. Like, well, I can't do that unless you connect to. Wait. Still probably have 10. Mechanical hard drives. I've got one 16 terabyte. And again, thanks to Jeff Ryman. And I've got about 10 other hard drives that are probably going to get the boards taken out of them. And I'll put them in my shred box and take them to recycling. Let's just chuck them in the shredder one by one. Take all 30 hard drives, just chuck them in the shredder one by one. They let me have the joy of doing that. It's a big, huge, slow rotating thing that's got this big, wide scissor things in it. And they kind of just swing around and they just kind of beat it and they just kind of slice it in half. They break it up and it comes out to tiny little chunks. And after it choose up one, I throw in the other one, and I just wait a couple seconds, so count to 5,000, take another one, throw it in there, count to 5,000, throw it in there, and about 20 minutes later, I'm done. Then I take the green boards out of them. It's got those little gold fingers. Those gold fingers are worth to somebody, or something to somebody. So usually, I have someone that comes and picks those up. I got a whole box of them in the closet. I'm surprised that drive lasted that long, Long Dog. Usually they don't. They usually start getting that click of death within 3 years. 3, 4 years. Most of them last okay, but I've had a few that just start ticking. They start that small little quiet tick, Get up the next morning, tick, tick, bang, 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 tick, tick. Oh, take the cover off the computer, unplug the hard drive. Because it's done. Yeah, I've had a few of them die that way. You have a 20th hard drive that works? That's the problem I had many years ago, Long Dog, at the other place I had. Oh, I had so many parts. I was like Bob's shop, and Bob has been kind of forced to clean up a little bit. It's not stacked to the ceiling anymore because the city walked in there and said, you can't do this. You can't have them stacked to the ceiling. You have to have 4 or 5 feet between the stack of the computers and the top of the ceiling. So take about 6 of those computers and put them on the floor. And he got into a lot of trouble, and that's why he called me and a few others and spent 2 days taking stuff out of there. Just to set aside the city of Baxter, the engineer decided to come over and just take a sneak peek. And he looked up and said, "Oh, no, you can't do this." And I was afraid of that. I was in the back room just kind of waiting for him to look upwards and say he can't do that. And I was right. And I told Bob after the guy left, and I looked at Bob and said, "Didn't I tell you he was going to say that?" Yeah, he said, "Yeah, you were right. That's exactly what he said. Yeah, you can't do that." So he spent the next 2 days having to get rid of all of his garbage. And I had a storage 4 or 5 years ago. I finally got rid of it because it was stacked to the ceiling full of stuff, and I just got a U-Haul truck and I just threw everything in it and took it to recycling and dumped it off there and got through $300 some for everything we had. So I threw a few radiators in there. I was going to get my money's worth. I only had like $100 some for the computer stuff, and we had that van full, and that was only maybe 100. So I threw some radiators in it, and I threw some big, huge, long metal bars, and gave that all to him. It was like $300 some I got, which that made it worth it. That put a smile on my face. It wasn't going to be for $100. That would have kind of pissed me off. So I said, this truck ain't leaving until we get at least $300 some in there, because those computer stuff is only going to maybe 100. Now it's closed. I got 94 for the computers and $100 and some for the metal, $30 some for the aluminum, bunch of other stuff. I had the metal and the steel. Then I got 319.04, I think. Wasn't bad. Put the TV out on the curb. Just sit there. Yeah, we used to have that too, Long Dog, but I don't know if that companies and service they used to have it was a large long truck, a piece of garbage truck. I didn't like it. But they had about 8 bins on one side, 8 bins on the other, and they all had separate metal, plastic, aluminum, certain kinds of tin, certain whatever, and they'd go around town to go on the curbs and take all their recyclable stuff. And noisy people. And I don't know if they're still around anymore. I haven't seen that truck in at least 6-7 years. I told them it was a pile of junk and it was going to snap in half one of these days. The frame wasn't going to take much more of that. They had stretched it too far, and it was starting to do this in the middle. It was starting to show stretch marks in the frame. So I told the guy, I said, just run lighter loads and eventually park the damn thing because it's gonna snap in half on you one of these days. So I think they did that next summer. I think they disassembled it and took it apart. Yeah, got a couple of minutes left here, guys. It's 2:27. I'm gonna try to get out of here at 2:30 today. I don't know if I'll make it, but me, I just keep talking and talking and talking. I just need to learn to keep my mouth shut sometimes, and I don't know. When you don't talk to people all day and all night, sometimes it's nice to get on here and talk to people. Talk to somebody. So I was working with those guys this morning, but we didn't say much to each other. We was too busy getting those computers and desk and everything upstairs, and I was too busy doing what I was doing, so didn't really get the chance to talk to anybody. We just had to get stuff done, and with everybody standing there staring at us, we couldn't just sit, shoot the breeze. I would have liked to have talked to the guys for a couple of minutes, kind of get them set up and tell them what we're gonna do, but they kind of looked, and I walked in and said, "Those guys." I walked in the door and I said, "Guys, all those computers need to go upstairs. Those tables, the chairs need to go upstairs to the far room on the right." And I kind of directed everything where it needed to go, and then those three guys are gonna be expecting a paycheck here at the end of the week, so I'll have to pay them. And like I said, I wasn't gonna do all that work myself. I was gonna get help doing it because my back, and I just had hernia surgery, and I'm not gonna screw that up again. So, and a couple of the guys complained about it. Said, "Well, can't you get him up there?" I said, "Guys, I just had hernia surgery back in August, so give me a break. Get that shit upstairs." Okay, all right, fine, we'll get it up there. They got it up there. And he said, "You had hernia surgery," and I showed him. I pulled up my shirt, like, "Holy shit! Oh my god!" Then they understood. Then they got them all upstairs, and they quit complaining. Once they saw the scar down here, and they said, "Oh, you just had that." I said, "Yeah, August 20th." "Oh, well, that's right. You did have surgery." So they picked everything up and took it up there. But yeah, it's 2:30, guys. I think I'm gonna cut you guys loose, and I'm gonna go find something different to do, which is probably just turn right back around and get on Zoom. So if any of you guys want to keep talking to me, I'll be over on Zoom here in a couple of minutes. So I really got nothing else to do for the day, unless one of those guys calls and says they got problems, and they'll come pick me up, and I'll have to go back over there. But it's pretty elementary stuff. Then tomorrow we'll start running the Cat 60 internet Ethernet cables. Some of those Ethernet cables I had in there were awfully old, and I asked the one gal that I get kind of feels like they have two CEOs and two bosses. It makes me very nervous. They had different people talking to me all the time. I said, "Which one should I be talking to?" And the lady said, "All three of us." All three of you? Okay. How long have these cat lines been here? They've been here since we've been here. We've been here 4 years. Oh. Okay. So, when they remodeled that building over in Northeast, they didn't replace anything. I thought they were going to. But so I got two places I'm trying to take care of right now. So kind of burning the candle at both ends. Hopefully I make it through it all. But until then, let's go through the shenanigans again. Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I will have a live stream, of course. Same time, same place. I don't know what we'll talk about yet. I'll think of something between now and then. But until then, you guys all have a good day. Guys, gals, if there's any gals watching, y'all have a great day, and see y'all tomorrow. Bye for now. Oh, Jenny will be on the road tomorrow. All right, well, Gamers Nexus. Thanks for the